Hey everyone, it's November 7th. We got the morning market rundown. We're going to start this video off recapping yesterday's video showing the price reaction to this anchored VWAP from the handoff of the most previous significant pivot low of the break of the pre-market range. And that's how I'm quantifying that most significant low is you got the consolidation in this pre-market aftermarket, and we broke that high of 577.65. We anchor that VWAP, pulls back into it for the close, gaps up and runs. Let's get into it. And the 585 will be a key level as well. So perhaps maybe we get some profit taking down into this 585 area and could start to get some consolidation and build some momentum for some further upside. So that's what I'll be looking at on the SPY. Don't really want to chase it. Gotta let this digest. I prefer for this to maybe pull back to this 585. Let the daily VWAP start to catch up. Maybe do a quick day trade into the daily VWAP. Look for something like that to get going and start to see this VWAP become support. So this ideally, this wouldn't be falling this fast. This would be more, a little bit smoother. And that'll start to fall out. And then here's our bounce play, kind of into that as it pulls back in, rallies up and bounce play, starts to turn the tide. And can get back and push it to 600. Again, this could just maybe break this pre-market high and bull market, we just keep going. So that's the key levels for the SPY and potential price action. Let's go into the QQQ. So start off with this 30-minute time frame, take the aftermarket data, pre-market. So let's get into our chart. That off. Give me a second to pull this up here. And here we are. So we got today's chart here. And this is what we just talked about in the video yesterday, is that let it pull back into this 585, this VWAP. Let's just get rid of this one here for now. Pulls back into that yesterday close. Don't chase the gap. Wait for VWAP. Shout out to Brian Shannon. And I didn't make any of this stuff up here. I'm just following my mentor, Brian Shannon. So we got this pullback to that VWAP. And then what we'd be looking for, textbook play, would be rallies up to VWAP. Don't chase the gap. Wait for VWAP. Settles down. Once it pulls up in here, you can now set your stop up with the stop at the low of day. Or if you're less aggressive and more conservative, put a stop at that most significant low under VWAP. This was our anticipated VWAP. Don't chase the gap. Wait for VWAP. So that was a great price action lesson, and that is the only strategy I need in trading. So let's get into our potential scenarios for today. And, we got this gap up. We got a new president. So let's see if we get a pullback down into this 2-day VWAP, this 589, 587, 586 area. So maybe we get something like this in this area. We'll dive this into a 10-minute time frame, and we'll just draw another map. So maybe this gets up in here, rallies, gets some longs excited, gets a deeper flush, back into the 2-day or 3-day VWAP, starts to consolidate just like yesterday, and then gets to go. So, or maybe this is, again, we could just continue this push into the 600. We had those Fibonacci's in previous videos. Could probably run through it here. So if we have, say, we'll just go from this wave up off the 200-day moving average to this high to this ball here. So that's 630, and this one retracement would be to this 595. So maybe that's where we're heading. So just to give us some potential Fibonacci price projections into this all-time high, let's continue on with the potential price action. Let's mark this up as some price action and then do that same situation. So this will be our 2-day VWAP holding support, and then we'd be looking for something like this on our 2-day VWAP. We'll change it over to pre-market data so we could get the color. You could see the 2-day VWAP. We'll change it up to that light purple, and it's in line with the gap VWAP at this point from the pre-market. So we'll just hide this for right now. So we could see that this 2-day VWAP. So perhaps maybe this 2-day VWAP could be our guardrail for the day. And then we could get price, like we said, we'll just move this over now like this. So maybe it just holds the 2-day and doesn't flush down into this 587 area, 583. And we'll monitor the daily VWAP at this point. The daily VWAP starts to look something like that. And then we could be looking for some type of trade entry that meets the parameters, something like this potentially. So that's the price action I'm looking for the SPY. And let's get into the QQQ. So we have the QQQ here. It's going to be the same story. Nothing changes. So we're going down, maybe fill the gap, get a bounce, get some longs going involved, and it comes back down into here and lets this dust settle and then gets going. So that's potential price action. We'll go over the daily VWAP, same concept. This kind of looks like something like that. Daily VWAP. And then the 2-day VWAP could be our potential level that we talked about. So this kind of just moving sideways. And then we have a 2-day multi-day VWAP reversal. Maybe it wants to pull deeper down to this week-to-date VWAP, this 495, 496. But we could see same concept here that happened yesterday that we talked about the SPY. Don't chase the gap. Wait for VWAP. Right? Let's turn this off. We talked about this yesterday. Same thing that we talked about in the SPY. So we had the gap VWAP from the most previous pivot low. Right? Pulled into it. Got back above daily VWAP. And as it got back above daily VWAP, it was already up 7%. It was up almost a full percent in 35 minutes. So it pulls back. Now as it gets back above VWAP, it's only up 0.5%. So at least you could make 0.5% to, risking just that stop under 40, just about 0.5% under VWAP. And you could see this VWAP from the gap act as the guardrail. So that was the trigger. And then we got that continuation. So same story as the SPY. Just wanted to demonstrate how it played out. Now we just talked about this situation. Maybe we'd fade a little bit to this 503, 500. Maybe this is the key level. Gets shorts excited, like, oh, it's going to break 500, 500. And then it squeezes them out and they realize on the wrong side. They're on the wrong side and it feels a further push into the continuation of all-time highs. If you like this, have any questions, drop a like, drop comments. Any questions? Thanks for watching.